What's up, everyone? How you guys doing? And for those of you who do not know, Genshin Impact has just turned 4 years old. Yes, on the 28th of September 2020, Genshin Impact was released, and as someone who has played since 1.0, yeah, it's been a long time, and today, just for a nice cheeky video, we're just gonna do like a small like account audit, see what do I have on my accounts and stuff like that. So yeah, so I think without wasting any time, I think let's just get into the video. So yeah, it's gonna be a pretty long video, so hopefully I do not lose my voice, because that's pretty normal when I do like long videos. But for those of you who do not know, you can actually check like when you started. If you click on Amber and you see the date that she joined the party, unless you played and like dropped the game and you didn't get to the part where with Amber kind of thing. But yeah, so I started playing on the 13th of October. So I wasn't a day one player. This is like what, day 15, right? This is like midway through the patch. But yeah, I played through part of 1.0. Didn't really get that far, and then I dropped the game for a little bit. I actually came back in the midst of 1.5 when Eula was on the banner, and I played ever since. I did take a few breaks in between. Most of it was due to school. I was still studying at that point in time. So I skipped during like 2.7. I didn't get Yelan until recently. I skipped like 3.6, 3.7, which means that was like Baiju era. And stuff like that. But Fontaine is the only region that I actually played like from front to back, so it's pretty funny actually. So yeah, mostly that's kind of like my history with the game. So I didn't play like from day one all the way, up to now. So yeah, oops, sorry. So that is basically that. As for like, am I a whale? Do I spend money? I have spent money in the game. If you look at my like inventory, you'll see that I'm usually like a battle pass buyer and also the welcome moon. So I do have an R5 deathmatch. I do have like Serpent Spine. I have one copy of each of the original weapon pass banners. I've not bought it recently. So the last time I bought it was in 4.0. That's why I actually have like the Wolf's Fang. I have a copy of it, but I have not bought it ever since. So that's about it. I do have an absurdly high amount of deathmatch, so don't ask why I have another 2 copies when I only have like 2 copies of like Serpent Spine and stuff like that. So yeah, don't ask what happened to that. It is I made bad decisions. All right, I made bad decisions. That being said, yeah, I've topped up once probably. I probably bought like the $20, $30 offer. This offer probably just once, when I was like pulling for Raiden Shogun on the very first time. Ironic because she's actually still here. So yeah, that's like my spending habits. So like over the 4 years, probably spend like close to like $300 to $400, which I think, like I say, over 4 years is still not that bad. Obviously spend responsibly. Don't spend over your needs, kind of stuff. So yeah, I think that's basically much of my history. I clear Abyss, I explore the world kind of stuff, but that's about it. All right, so I think this comes to the main bulk of the video, which is actually the character reviews. Usually my philosophy in build up characters is that if they can clear content, if I can get 36 stars in Abyss, it is pretty fine. I don't need to really push like to min max my characters. I don't care about being like number 1 on like the Akasha website kind of thing. As long as they can clear content for me, I can get my 36 stars. It is more than enough. So yeah. So I think just to get things started, I do move some of my artifacts around. So, not all my artifacts. I don't have like one set for every character. And mostly for this video, just look at my 5 stars and some of the 4 stars that I use. I'm not going to show you things like my Amber, because obviously I've not built Amber ever since day 1. All right, so let's get it started with like Arlecchino. Love her so much. Using her, obviously. I do have the R5 deathmatch on her. And I do have the Whimsic, Harmonic Whimsy on her. Used to run the Gladiators, but as I was farming these pieces, I just managed to get a piece for her. So yeah, this is actually a pretty good flower. Feathers pretty okay. Don't ask about the scents. This has caused me a lot of problems farming for it. And yeah, it's pretty decent. This could have been much better, but it is what it is. Total stats is like 72, 224. With I think there's a little bit of ER. Yes, a little bit of ER over there. So yeah, just pretty decent. 988 talents. Probably want to get this crown like pretty soon. But yeah, Arlecchino is one of the characters that I use pretty often. I really enjoy using her quite a bit. Yeah, and so to pair out with her, I usually have Bennett. So this is one of the 4 stars I'll probably talk about. Sapwood. I prefer Sapwood over the Favonius, although I do switch to Favonius from time to time when I need the ER. But yeah, generally like it because prefer the high base attack on it. And in general, just a pretty decent noblesse build, pretty standard. I know some people like run like Songs of Days Past, especially for Arena. But it's pretty okay. So just have a healing, ER, HP goblet kind of HP goblet kind of thing. Typical healer build. As you guys may have noticed, I do not have the C6. I actually had a video about this, like why I did not C6 my Bennett. Well, the short answer is that I actually want to use Bennett with Lynette, because unfortunately, Lynette, even though she's a much newer character, Lynette's animal infusion gets overridden. So unfortunately, that causes a bit of problems with C6 Bennett. But once I have that video out, once I actually take the time to film that video clearing using her in Abyss, then I will C6 it. So the faster I do the video, the faster I'll C6 Bennett. But it is what it is. Pretty decent, pretty standard talents. Just have not crowned him. I am quite stingy in my crowns, as you guys can see. Yeah, I do have 26 crowns, quite stingy with them. But I have crowns of characters, as you'll see later. Fishel's the other character that I have that I'll probably showcase, another 4-star. C6 as well. I do like Fischel quite a lot. I think, hot take, I don't know whether people agree. I think people agree that she's one of the strongest 4-stars. My hot take is that she is the strongest 4-star in the game, better than Xiangling, Bennett, Xingqiu, and stuff like that. Have on a pretty basic build of stringless. Sometimes I do run Thundering Pulse depending on my mood, especially if I want to see bigger crit numbers. And I run the Golden Troop, the 4.0 domain. I do have pretty decent pieces on her, not gonna lie, or at least above 30 plus CV. Yeah, even which is on set, by the way. This is like 32 CV. Unfortunate about the HP, but it is what it is. And also crit. Yeah, it's pretty decent, not gonna lie. So I do have it at like 72, 151, which is pretty nice. If I were to run the Thundering Pulse, it will be like 72, 210 around there. So it's pretty good. Also have the Knight Rider at level 9. This level 12 obviously because of the C3 or C5, one of the constellations. C3. So Fishel's a character I really like to use a lot, not only for like Dendro based teams but also in Taser teams. Oz is pretty strong, not gonna lie. And yeah, she's just a very good character to use in general. And Kadehara Kazuha. So Kazuha is actually one of the first he is the first 5-star that I ever pulled. And he has a dear place in my heart. I do have the Freedom Sword on him. I put it on the Al-Haytham banner. He and Al-Haytham in 3.7. That's where I just came back to the game. And so, pretty good. If I lost Al-Haytham, it's still a win for him. So that's why I put for the weapon. And 4-piece Veridescent Venera. The only thing I don't like about his build is that, for the love of God, I do not have a 5-star EM goblet on set. And for 3 years, I've been strongboxing this domain. I've been farming this domain when it wasn't like cool to farm. right? And I still have not gotten a 5-star artifact to save my life. So, you know, that's why the EM is a little bit short, because I think this is 139, right? What would be what would it be if it was 5-star? I know like Cookie like not Cookie, like, so that is like 187, so that's like an additional 40 for this is like an additional 48 EM, which, you know, isn't much, but, you know, it gets me like at least 900-ish. So, you know, just more damage for that talent that he has. But, you know, just let's say 886 EM, which works well with the weapon. I do have 188 ER, because you do want him to burst pretty often as well. And yeah, I do have the ultimate crown, which is pretty nice. I probably one day would do the special as well, the skill, not the special. All right, so yeah, Kazuha is a character that I would like for. I think this also goes to show that Kazuha doesn't really need a lot of investment, you know. And it sounds weird to say that when I literally have the Freedom Sword, but, you know, if I could switch this to like the Iron Sting, I could switch this to Favonius, you know, it will still work out a lot better. It could still work pretty well. So I'm not really that mad about his build, because, you know, even if it's not good, you know, it's the fact that he can hold the VV set, you know, it helps out quite a lot. But generally, he does pretty well. You know, I run him in Abyss quite often. Yeah, he's one of my most used characters in Abyss over the last year. You go on the web event, you can actually see it. I probably post a screenshot of it somewhere. And these are the 3 characters I actually have start, because these are characters that I actually want to build up. Layla, Tainari, and Garming. I do have their boss materials farmed. I'm just a little bit busy to go to the overworld to farm for them. So that will take some time. Hopefully one day I will get them up and running, especially Garming, because I do like Garming's gameplay style, honestly. So yeah, just a side note. Navia is a character that I actually enjoy quite a lot. You know, her playstyle is very, very fun, and I really enjoy using her in Abyss. She does have a lot of damage. I have her on Super Spine. She is also holding the Nighttime Whisper set. I did farm quite long for this. Yeah, you know what? Pretty decent all around. This one's pretty okay, you know, rolled once into HP, once into attack, but it is where it is. It's a pretty good sense. I actually have 2 pretty good sense for this set. This is the other one, which I used to use. This one gives me more crit damage, this one gives me more crit rate. And for a character like Navia, who is so reliant on her skill, I think sometimes having a higher crit rate is a lot better. The other one gives about a flat 80% if I'm not wrong. So it is what it is, you know. And then for the Geo Goblet, it's pretty trash, but I just want a little bit of ER, because I do have better upgrades. The only problem is that the better upgrades means that I don't have the ER, and that's the only piece that has an ER subset. So unfortunately, this is why I usually run most of the times, you know, as I get things cleared, right? It is not the worst thing in the world, and this is like it is like rolled 3 times into crit rate, and unfortunately once, and I think it was, I can't remember, I think it ran into the attack. Yeah, I ran into attack, which was pretty sad, but it is what it is. So yeah, Navia, as I mentioned earlier, skill is Crown. I do have level 9 on the basic, so it is still pretty good. Navia gets me pretty nice clears. I think she's like one of my fastest clearing characters, if I'm not wrong. And then Zhongli, so someone maybe noticed this in the C1 versus R1 video that I made a while back. I do have C1 on Zhongli. Zhongli is one of the only 2 limited characters that I have at C1. The other one being Farina, which I'll talk about later. Why do I have C1 on Zhongli? Tried to build Pity, got an early, won the 50-50. It's that kind of situation. So yeah, that's how I got C1 Zhongli. I don't really like the HP build that people have. I do want to build him more as a sub DPS support character. So I do have Favonius on him. I do have 2-piece Geo and 2-piece Noblesse for the extra damage on his ultimate. As I mentioned, but this is a pretty decent Geo Goblet. And you know, I just got decent substats all around. So yeah, the HP just to help out with the shield, because I don't want him to just like I still want him to shield a little bit, right? But I just don't like him just being a shield. But you know, his Zhongli, his Morax is supposed to be powerful, so you know, I just like having a little bit more damage on him. So yeah, that's my Zhongli build. 61, 151, 157 ER, which I think is a little bit too much because I think he gets it back on cooldown. Like his ult is pretty cheap. Yeah, I think it's like a 40 energy cost. So I think if I want to really like tune it up, I'll probably reduce this to like one. Maybe I wouldn't even care about the ER substats because he's also holding Favonius Lens. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah, one day I might just tweak him a little bit, because he does generate 2 pillars, which means that he can get a little bit more ER. Or he's able, not only ER, but he's able to proc the Favonius a lot easier. That's what I meant. And then Jean also holds a Favonius sword. She's more of a character that I use. I used her before Farina, but after Farina, I use her quite a lot. You know, Favonius, the normal ER build with quite a bit of attack and stuff like that. You know, the pretty normal stuff. So yeah, Jean is mostly like pretty much tied to Farina in most cases. It's also pretty good because she's animal. She can run the Viridescent Venerer, so you know, it's a pretty good set to run on her to shred more of the resistance. Ayaka was my second 5-star, sorry. Yeah, so win the 50-50 for her in 2.0. So yeah, this is like a pretty mid build, not gonna lie. It's pretty good in like 2.0 times, but I just haven't touched her since like Sumeru, because obviously, as for those of you who don't know about the meta, Freeze has been getting a lot of not much love, and so unfortunately, she is on a pretty low build. That being said, though, this 35, that means plus all the Freeze, the Blizzard Strayer stuff, and the Cryo Resonance, I think this adds up to about 55. So this is about, is it 55 or 45? I can't remember. I think 55. So that's about 80 to 90, depending on whether my math is wrong or not. I do have the Amenoma, which is I think the Inazuma craftable weapon. It's pretty good on her. It helps her a lot in her uptime because of the passive. So I don't need to run like a lot of ER on her. So that's pretty good. And then for artifacts, I do have Blizzard Strayer. My Blizzard Strayer pieces like are some decent. I have some decent ones. This is pretty okay. This one's pretty good, not gonna lie. This one's also pretty decent for an off piece. It's just that my Cryo Goblet is pretty bad, and so is my Circlet. So unfortunately, just don't have the right pieces on her. I have, like, if you see, for most of my build is like two like very good pieces, and like the 3 are either decent or very, very bad. I do have 889 on her. She's a character that uses quite a bit of all of a kit, so you know, this is just pretty nice to have it leveled up. And of course I use it in freeze teams, obviously, because that's only like gameplay nowadays. And yeah, just haven't used Ayaka in a very long time, unfortunately. Chlorand 4.7, so pretty recent, obviously. Didn't pull for a weapon because I think me pulling for her was pretty bad luck. Went to hard PT and stuff like that, like almost close to hard PT, like 80 plus pulls to I actually got her. I lost a 50-50 to, I think it was Dea. I think it was my first ever copy of Dea that I lost to her. So but you know what, I built her quite a bit. She is actually running the Black Cliff Longsword because I do just want a little bit of crit. Unfortunately, this kind of skews the crit ratio a little bit. Obviously this is 73% if you include the talent. I think it's lawful remuneration. Yeah, remuneration, I don't know, words are hard these days. So yeah, definitely I could probably push this out a little bit higher, but you know, for artifacts is always a pain. I do have the Thundering Fury though. This actually most of it are Kaching's old pieces, so it is what it is. And of course C0, 110 and 8. So I did crown the skill because that's the most part of a kit. And yeah, just pretty decent numbers all around. She doesn't really need that much ER, especially runner with official, right? Official's like her best partner, so you run with official, like probably don't need much ER anyways. Raiden Shogun, unfortunately another bench character. I used to run the deathmatch on her, which obviously is on Arlecchino. So let me just switch some of her stuff. And also artifacts mostly was stolen by Yelan, so I'll just equip them back on to see what they were beforehand. But yeah, I used to use her quite a bit. She was the first character that I lost my 50-50 to. Interesting story about her is that I lost the 50-50. I got a little bit sad because I wanted her. I didn't have enough gems. I bought that off. I topped out like once $20. And then what happened was that she came in the next 10 pool. The next 10 or 20 pool. So like I actually didn't really need to top up for her. She was quite sad. She was quite sad. So yeah, didn't really top up for her. I got her pretty early. And the person that I lost to was actually Kaching, if I was not wrong. So yeah, with my old build, it's like 81, 168. It's still pretty okay. And 245% ER. Talents wise, 4, 9, and 10. I don't know why I did a normal attack actually. I think I was like a little bit dumb at that point in time. You don't really need to do this one because I think it only increases the damage of your skill, but doesn't give you an increase to the elemental burst damage bonus. So that's why you don't usually crown the skill. But there's obviously tons of damage. So yeah, unfortunately, Ryder is not a character that I use a lot. Like, I was actually thinking to switch her to a more EM build, even though it sounds disgusting to say. So like Dragon's Bane and like either Flop or the Gilded Dreams with triple EM kind of build. But I said it sounds very disgusting, and I don't know whether I want to consider it. But you know what? Maybe it's time to switch around. Kaching is a character, and now in talk about Kaching as well, she's kind of benched, but I did level up quite a bit. Used to run most of the pieces that you see on Cloran. I actually have a very soft spot for Kaching. Not only do I have her as C2 because of luck, but at the same time, she carried me throughout Sumeru. You know, she got massive buff with Dendro, and so you know, use her like from 3.0 to like 4.1, 4.2 kind of thing. Even though I hate them, I usually use them mostly for overworld because she's more like comfortable in the overworld. And so yeah, as I have a soft spot for Kaching. Really wish that you know, she's a little bit more versatile. Unfortunately, Cloran came in and blew her out of the waters, unfortunately. But once in a while I do switch back and like use her just for fun, you know, because Kaching is Kaching. So yeah. Al-Haytham, there's been a video on him. I think all the characters in this game, Al-Haytham is one of the characters that I probably main the most, and also the character that I spend the most time building. 86, 190, 306 EM. I do have the Jade Cutter on him, which is kind of skills like his crit, because obviously Jade Cutter is 44% crit rate. I do want to get this down to like 85, 200, you know, but you know, finding the perfect pieces are always, it's not really that easy anyways. That being said, I do have decent pieces on him. This is pretty okay, which this was like another stat like hit like EM or something. This one is pretty okay. Actually not really, but you know, I think it's the best of what I have. You know, I might have better, but I don't want to switch around. This is a pretty good EM sense on set. This one is my pride and glory. 49 CV Dendro Goblet. Definitely helps him out quite a lot in balancing out his stats. And yeah, and this is the it's kind of, I mean, it rolled into like elemental mastery and crit rate, but I wish we had less less ER and more crit rate. But that's about it. Right, I think in general, my Al-Haytham does very, very well. I really love using him because, oh, by the way, talents is 9, 10, and 8. So, skill, obviously, his best thing. So yeah, I really like using Alhaitham quite a bit because obviously does a lot of damage. In Abyss in the past I used to like give him like only like less than 45 seconds and he was able to clear in 3 stars for me. So definitely one of the characters that carried me a lot during like the 3.0, 4.0 era until like Navia came out and stuff. So yeah, Alhaitham definitely helped me a lot in Abyss, and wouldn't have gotten those sweet Primogems if not for him. And of course, if you talk about Alhaitham, you talk about Nahida. Nahida is pretty dope as well. Really love using her. I do have pretty decent build on her, 51, 55. With the passive, with the talent, with it adds up to like 70 plus. There's that one talent that gives her extra crit. This one, right? The awaken, whatever this word is. So yeah, definitely pretty decent. I have not hit the I probably want to try to hit the 1000, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, just a lot of, you know, decent stats, EM and stuff like that. I do have a pretty decent goblet and stuff. I used to run Dendro, but you know, after a while I just decided to run EM because it's better for my, like, I just couldn't get a good another good Dendro goblet. That's just the thing, right? Yeah, so just pretty decent all around. You know, I've crowned the skill as always, and yeah, she's pretty good character. I think that anyone who plays like a Dendro centric team that runs on EM like Bloom, Burgeon, Bloom, Burgeon, Hyper Bloom, Aggravate will really appreciate Nahida, because I think she also gives out EM. Yep, this one. She gives out EM. So just pretty nice on her. Obviously I don't have it maxed out at 250. But you know, it is this is like what, 220, yeah, so 220, 250, just a 30 EM difference. So you know, it is what it is. Main Traveler, I still run a Dendro. I have not switched to Hydro because Hydro is bad. Furina, for as I mentioned earlier, Furina is the other character that I have at C1. Basically, this gives her at max 100% damage bonus. But because of the 150 starting, you get about 37.5 if my math is not wrong off the top of my head. So I already start with 37.5 anyways. So you know, it's pretty good. I do run the Flu Sondre, the fishing weapon, because I didn't get the Festering Desire. Hoyoverse, can you add an option to, or can you give us the option to buy past event items, please? 34, 172 is pretty decent ratio considering I'm not running a crit weapon, and 163 ER. You may see it's a little bit low, but because you get 32% from using your skill, for 5 seconds, it is pretty nice. Anyways, I do run her with like ER characters with like Favonius, like Jean. Like my Jean has Favonius, so I'm not really that worried most of the time with ER. I do get it back on cooldown. And I also run the Golden Troop, so you know, pretty decent pieces all around. This one is pretty low, but I've rolled quite a bit into HP, so you know, no dead stats anyway. So same as here. This one is a pretty decent onset. This is like 35 CV. I wish this was like HP, but it is what it is. And this is my other Pride and Glory 49 CV piece, which is the HP goblet that I have for her. So yeah, 49 with ER. If this was like, maybe, you know what, ER is fine because like obviously kind of HP percent here. So it is what it is. Maybe like EM here would have been better for like Crabber Letter to vape and kill people. And yeah, it's just decent all around. Is it probably the only piece I want to replace is probably like that circlet, but that's about it. I do have her talents crown, like both the skill and the ultimate, so you know, it's pretty good. Just loads of damage and stuff like that. Ayato is actually a character that I do use quite a bit. Not so much since like Cloran and stuff, but like Ayato does help out. I find that Ayato actually works very well with Furina, and also with Fischl, right? You know, something like a hybrid taser team. You know, Definitely works very, very well. I don't really have the best artifacts on him. He's at a 75, 77, 205, but he does run the Haran, which is actually a pretty good weapon. I really actually like the Haran a lot. The damage bonus plus the wave stacks and everything, the normal attack bonus that he gets. But my pieces are just like pretty mediocre. This is like okay, like it has good stats, but the distribution is a little bit whack. This is pretty okay, like in all honesty. But yeah, everything else is just pretty decent. Okay, this was actually okay as well. Yeah, just pretty decent. But like I said, if I can clear Abyss, I can clear Abyss. So it doesn't really matter. So yeah, Ayato C0 as well. So yeah, character that I do use quite a bit. Not so much recently, but definitely a character that I use more than, let's say, like Kaching, for example, or like Rider Shogun. Yelan. Alright, Yelan, I do have the Aqua Simulacra on her. Let me just equip the pieces as I talk more about her, because I think she's the most storied character on my roster. So as I mentioned, wasn't playing when she first came 2.7. When she first re-ran, I tried pulling for her. I think I lost to like Jean or something. So that was that. And then when she came back for the second time, which was 4.0, I tried pulling for her, lost my 50-50 to Chi-Chi. Was Chi-Chi. I pulled a Chi-Chi. So yeah. And so when I tried to pull for her in 4.8, which was last patch, I lost again. I think I pulled either a C2. I think I pulled C1 there. Let me see my there. I think it was C1 there, yeah. I put a C1 for there for her. So but Yelan is someone that I use quite a bit. As I mentioned, I did the Aqua Simulacra. I got it because I tried to snipe stuff of Homa during that banner, and I didn't. And in hindsight, okay, so the reason why I tried putting her on that banner is because I wanted to get the Homa. I wasn't intending on pulling her, but I got the Aqua, and I was like, you know what, let's try to pull for her. But I didn't get it, and because I was saving for our Hatham, who was coming out in the second half, then yeah, it's like kind of a warm situation from there on out. 91, 224, 189, a little bit low. So generally, if I run her, I usually run Favonius on Bennett. That's the one instance I run Favonius on him. So like these are the same pieces that I had on Raiden, except for this. Pretty okay, and this, which is the Gilded Dreams Crit Sucklet. So yeah, it's just pretty decent ratio. Maybe if one day I will just work into getting higher amounts of ER, so that I don't run Favonius with Bennett. This one's pretty okay. Because she's relatively new, I just haven't really like brought her to like level 10 and stuff. So it's something that I'm probably gonna work on. So yeah, Tatalia, just like Ayato, I don't use that much. I do use him quite a bit. Right, he is built, but not as like optimal as I wanted it to be. Because unfortunately, he also runs the Heart of Depth, and he has Ayato's leftover pieces. But now with the Nymph's Dream coming out to the Strongbox, I might actually like craft some of the Nymph's Dream stuff. And then Lynette, I do have like Marashuse. Lynette's actually a character that I like. Pretty sad that she's a 4-star. I do have her on C6, which is why I want to do that showcase. I actually want to use her up, build her up a little bit so I can use it in Abyss. But yeah, do enjoy her playstyle quite a bit. I do like elemental efusion characters. The only sad part is that obviously this can get overridden by Bennett. So it is what it is. That's why Bennett is at C5 instead of 6. Sucrose I use quite often. Not as often. I use her mostly in taser teams. She has Kazuha's leftovers. Sorry. Cookie use her, use her quite a bit on Hyper Bloom. Just a normal build HP, EM. The standard with Iron Sting. Xingqiu, same thing as well. Pretty standard builds. Probably a little bit higher on the ER, I think. I could probably switch that for some crit, but that's about it. I don't really have any like outstanding pieces on him except for this, which is actually pretty decent. So yeah. Yeah, just pretty run-of-the-mill stuff. Nothing outstanding on him. Same thing with Shang. No, actually Xiangling does have two pretty good pieces. This is actually pretty nuts. It's like 47 CV. I think it's like my third highest. This is also pretty decent. This is also pretty decent. This is also pretty crazy, considering that it rolled like 3 times here and once here. So yeah. The only bad part about her is the pyro damage goblet, but it's just that because everything else is so good, I just don't want to like give her an off-piece pyro so that I do find another I cannot. I just don't have a good enough crit rate circlet off-piece to give to her, like on-piece to give to her. That's what I meant, right? I don't have an emblem circlet for her. Shenhe is one of those characters that just like Zhongli C1 tried to build pity, put early, won the 50-50. The same, but I do use her quite a bit because obviously with Ayaka. So, you know, I also a Calamity Queller because I tried to pull for Mist. Her last rerun, she came with Ayaka. I was like, you know, let's pull the Mist Splitter for Ayaka. And I got Calamity Queller. So F me then. So, but you know what, just a typical like attack build, attack with ER, you know, just to get your energy back. Mona I benched, Linguang I bench. Charlotte I do use quite a bit with freeze team. She works very well with Furina of all people. You know, just a bit of ER, just a lot of attack. You know, I do have the Oathsworth Eye, which I think was a 2.3, 2.4 weapon. Unfortunately, I did not finish the event because I was busy and yeah, just didn't get it to R5, sadly. So yeah, oopsie daisy. So yeah, and then moving on, we have Rosaria who's benched. Beidou I do use quite a bit, but just not as for taser teams. I do have the event weapon from 4.3, but it's not really necessary just because Navia she used to run the Super Spy before Navia. So yeah, so I probably just. And because she also best artifact is also emblem, so the problem is that obviously I just cannot find a suitable enough mix of artifacts to just fit everyone. Please, boy of us, artifact loadouts will be massive. Yao Yao is someone I use quite a bit, you know, pretty decently built with crit because of Favonius. Chevrus I actually have not built, but I do want to because I do like what she does with the resistance reduction when you're affected by overload. This is actually pretty cool. She's currently in a banner, so you know, if you guys have not have a Chevrus, but you know, like she's a good consideration, especially if you're like Raiden C2, can use her with Raiden for overload, like to kill bosses. That'll be pretty dope. Yai Miko, same as Shenhe. That's why I don't really use her, because I try to build pity, put early, won the 50-50. And everybody else is either like benched or like someone who's in the process of building. Diluc, I'm in the process of building. I just farmed the materials. Noel in the process of building. Yanfei in the process of building, I think. Dea as well in the process of building. I found for this material. Just this Sangrease Pupa is one of the worst materials to like farm for in the overworld. It is so annoying to farm. And everybody else is just like benched. Maybe like Carrara and Toma, maybe Chi-Chi, even I know which is my highest standard Eidolon character. Chi-Chi, C3. So yeah, screw you, like go away, Chi-Chi. Don't like you. Yun Jin I might build out if I get her C6. To use with Ayato just for fun. And everybody else I don't really use. Maybe one day I might use Femine because he's a sweet little boy. But other characters that you see here are mostly benched. So yeah, that's that of my roster. Are there any character rerun? So what are my plans for the future? At least for the Netland characters, I'm pulling for Shilonen. I currently have a 50 guarantee because I lost my 50-50 for Moalani. Although I really do want to pull for her though. So on a rerun, I might consider pulling for Moalani, we'll see how it goes. But any characters that else, Shen Yun's actually pretty fun. I do actually want to pull her. Plus, you know, she's an inventress. So Emily, I do like her playstyle as well. I know that you know, she works well with Kinish. I don't have Kinish, but you know, I may consider pulling for Emily one day. We'll see how it goes. So any other reruns? Not really that much. Not putting for these two, not putting for this four. If they give me a free Hu Tao, I might use Hu Tao, right? But I don't want to pull for Hu Tao. Kokomi is pretty cool, but I think she's a little bit old by now. Ito, I don't like Monogeo. Nilu is a character that I might build, but everything else is probably a skip. So okay, and so going back to the topic of Netland characters, I'm gonna pull for Shilonen. I'm gonna pull for Malvuika, and whoopsie daisy, turned on my lights by accident. And I might pull for Sitlali. All right, it's good for those of you who do not know, Sitlali is March 7. All right, same voice actress as March 7, which I think is hilarious because I think March is funny as shit. But yeah, I think that's it for this video. So yeah, you know, just pretty fun stuff. Let me know in the comment section about my like, you can like honestly go to my comments and tell me that this is the worst account that you've seen from a YouTuber or worst account that you've seen from a creator, and I would gladly accept it because I think I spend very little time on my accounts anyways. But you know what, I take it. If I can 36 star Abyss, okay, wait, it doesn't show it here, but if I can 36 star Abyss with my shit builds, then it is what it is, right? But yeah, if I have, yeah, like I have consistently put out 36 stars. There's only one Abyss that I came in late. There's only one Abyss that I came in late, like literally like 20 minutes before. I couldn't clear it in time because I only had one try and I lost it by like 5 seconds. So this was the only Abyss in recent time that I've not like 36 starred. But yeah, that's my fault. All right, so yeah, you can see the characters that I use quite a bit. It's all pretty fun stuff. Yeah, Navia always consistently getting like the biggest numbers. Except for this like Alakino for some reason. Yeah, Tatalia, but Navia. Yeah, so I think that's that. Really appreciate you guys coming for this video and listening to my endless yap. Hopefully, you know, we can do more with this channel. For those of you, for all you Genshin impactors, happy 4th anniversary, and may the year ahead be good to you. Yeah, that's the end of this video. Stay healthy, stay safe, be good to yourselves and the people around you. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.